how you doing? We're here. We are the big winners of the awards. You're actually the big winners of the award. That was a terrible intro. Let me do it one more time. Hang on. Sorry.
I'll give you a participation trophy for it, James.
Thank you. That was awful.
Yeah.
Should we just keep rolling?
Just keep rolling? To just keep going.
We should. Do I get a participation trophy?
Yeah, you would get a yellow ribbon. A green ribbon as a participant. I feel like that's what you would get.
I feel like we let everybody behind the curtain to know that sometimes we just re-record things, which we do. But we'll keep rolling. Give me my participation trophy. That's an award.
Present, and the award goes to James Heskey. Here is your speech. Go.
Okay. You know what? I'm sorry.
You know, I think you should just thank one person.
Thank you, Shannon DeVido, for being here.
Yes.
You're here. Shannon DeVito's here. Oh my gosh. How are you, Shannon?
I'm good.
Who the hell is Shannon DeVito? James?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No one really knows. It's a question I've been asking for 20 years of therapy.
Aside from being a very good friend, she died. She's gone.
It's been real.
Yeah, she died.
I'm a ghost.
Welcome to the Medium podcast. She's a BAFTA breakthrough actress, comedian, and writer. She was on Bridesmaid, Difficult People, Insatiable, Delco Proper, Manifest, Law and Order, SVU. She created the role of Buck in Mike Liu's play Teenage Dick. She won the Elliot Norton Award for her performance for that. She's in the South by Southwest award-winning film Best Summer Ever. Her YouTube channel has amassed 1 million views, which is roughly 999,000 more than ours.
We're closing in on her.
Yeah. She's just like,
you guys got this. I have faith any day.
She's also just one of the coolest people, one of my favorite people to be around. She's a good friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon DeVido, thanks so much for being here on the show. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm great. Thank you for reading my bio I sent to Playbills.
I got through half of it. I didn't give you the full Daryl Charles treatment of reading the whole thing.
I apologize to everyone who had to just listen to that. So it's sad for all of you.
But you are a very accomplished actor, writer, comedian. You've done a whole bunch of stuff. I saw you in Teenage Dick when it was here in New York. You're incredible in that.
Thanks.
So you've just done so many things, and unfortunately that's just stopped. I hear you're just done winning, right?
Yeah, I don't really feel very accomplished, as I currently do this from my childhood bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm on a podcast right now, which is pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
You can throw that on your credits, Shan.
It's on. I'm putting it in the bio. Next one.
As heard by James Heskey's dad, Shannon DeVito's here.
Oh, that's nice that you think my dad listens.
I know.
One day, the letter writing campaign has not stopped.
He gets the readout.
Yeah. Yeah, he skims for his name. He's like, oh, look, I was mentioned today.
The idea that my dad's like a proper businessman.
Yes.
And not a super sensitive psychologist.
Right.
Well, here's the thing is we're talking awards today. We feel like we won the big award by just having you on the show.
Yes, we did.
Oh, that's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a participation trophy, if anything. But yes, okay.
But it's a nice one. It's a good one.
It's not.
It's got some weight to it.
Yeah, it has some heft.
You've won a few awards yourself, Chip. We're gonna talk about your awards, Chip, and then
Sure.
We'll never get around to Shannon's.
No, I think that's a good idea because I have a host of awards.
Yeah,
that I can share.
It's true.
Chip, what year did you win Philly's Funniest?
The year after you, James.
Oh, that's right. The year after me. I always forget that. So
I came in third place. I came in third place the year
Third
that
place
you
the year
won.
I won. The third
Oh,
place.
wow. Who came in second?
I think it was Pat House.
It
wasn't
was Pat House. Yeah.
Oh, that's a pretty solid lineup, right?
Right.
There.
Yeah. And then finally, I came out. It was the Susan Lucci, and finally won my Oscar in 2013.
I still remember after you won. You came up to me afterwards. You were a little tipsy. I think we were at Bard's. And you were trying not to make a big deal out of it because there was a little bit of, oh, finally.
Yes.
Like, because there was like 3 straight years where it was like, Jesus Christ, is Chip going to win this fucking thing? We knew you were
I
like
was the running joke. Like, it was like, this is Chip's year. This is Chip's year for like 5 years. And I came in 3rd place in that contest so many times. Like, out of 200 people, 250 people, 3rd place.
Yeah. You are one of the richest men. You have the most bronze in the United States.
I do. And by bronze, it's Red Bull mirrors. Because that's what I was getting. The one year, literally
just dusted in Coke.
Yes, the one year that I came, it might have been the year that you won. I received a Red Bull mirror and a fire pit, like one of those like metal fire pits. I lived in a studio apartment. Jeff Lewandowski, the manager, was like, "Here," I was like, can you please just take this so I don't have to carry this to my this fire pit to my studio apartment? I was like, it's yours. And I got a Red Bull mirror. Yeah, that was...
But I just love that you came up to me afterwards, after winning, at Bard's, and we're sitting there, I don't know, it's like finally you got away from everybody who was congratulating you, and then you just whispered in my ear, you're like, this feels really good.
That's amazing.
That was one of the first moments you and I had. We were friends.
Right.
But I was like, oh, I just had a cool moment with Chip Chantry. I still looked up for you, even though I had won the year before.
You had beat me. You were already a big winner. Yeah, that was... I just remember when I won that award... that there was no excitement. It was just relief. Like, that's all it was. It was like, oh, finally, it's just done now. It's over.
Yeah. So that was Philly's Funniest, and after that, now now I have a podcast.
Yes.
So I'm doing great. How about you, Shannon? Do you have anything as cool as Philly's Funniest?
Well, I mean, I never got close, so maybe the key is not winning.
Okay. Yeah. Look at all you've accomplished. But no Funniest award, Shannon. Can't hang your hat on that.
What do you have? Maybe recently.
Well, I was not nominated for an Emmy. So, okay, here's the thing. So, we submitted Bridesman, our short form show, for an Emmy, and we're like, there's probably like 5 shows out there that could get nominated. And then most of them were going to be famous people. And so it was 3 of us that got submitted. And then the award things went up, and my castmate got it, and the other 2 of us didn't. So we called each other, and we were like, are we really bad? Like, we were very excited for her, but like we were like, oh no, what did we do?
So you didn't get it?
I did not. No.
I thought you said you did.
No, I said I was just not nominated.
Oh no, I misunderstood.
Oh no, it's fine. It's funny now, but I think at the time we were all like, oh, but yeah. So no, I was not. And
it must be an honor to be almost nominated, though.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I had several people be like, oh, yeah, you're totally going to get nominated. So I was, like, very excited. I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to wear. Like, I'm going to, like, go. And then, like, it didn't happen. I was like, oh, no. What? It's not, I mean, honestly, none of it matters. But at the same time, I was like, fuck, I should probably just give up. However, though, I did win. So in last year, we did Teenage Dick in Boston. And they have like their own like awards for like theater in Boston. Yeah. And I won, which was very nice and so funny. But like my favorite part of the whole thing was like I was like, oh, I'm gonna get like a little plaque and stuff. That'll be so nice. Like, oh, that's so cute. And I I got sent a PDF of the award, and they were like, "Here's your award." I was like, "Cool."
It's just from some guy. It's like Sean at AOL.com.
Pretty much, yeah. Definitely an AOL account.
Yeah.
It was from the Boston Critics Association, and they emailed me a PDF that said, "Good job."
That sounds.
It was very on brand for me.
That sounds
And for
like
the city of Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it's from the
It
city
was
of
just a
Boston,
Dunkin' Donuts gift card.
yeah, a Dunkin' Donuts gift card that was like, it was a re-gift, and somebody had already taken out like one coffee and a cruller.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
it was a card for $7.50. You're like, thanks. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was just steeped with racism.
Yeah, it was somehow the card itself was racist.
Yeah.
Dunkin' with 3 Ks.
It's just
Yeah.
literally, and you just got a T-shirt that just says "It's not your fault" with a picture of Matt Damon on it.
And yet it was.
I mean, yeah, in a PDF.
There's one other awards thing that I just wanted to bring up. If you come to my apartment at any point, you will see a bunch of bowling trophies like just all over, and it looks like I am at some point was a amateur competitive bowler. It's a lie. It is a complete and utter lie. What it is that we as a family had a family bowling tournament, and my dad took it upon himself to mail out trophies based on how you did. So I'm staring at him, at least 5 or 6 bowling trophies that say like first, second, third, and so it looks like I was a really good bowler. This is with scores of like 110.
Right.
And you use the bumpers.
Yeah. Like, just by the end, just drunk as shit. And the tournament stopped because me, my dad, and brother kept getting injured. We have bad shoulders. So we just stopped doing it. The one time my dad won and got severely hurt, like to the point where my dad was like, maybe a year ago, was like, we should do it again sometime. And my brother were like, absolutely not. Like, we thought we lost you. But my dad won, took himself out for like 3 months from being able to walk. And
Jesus.
he won, and he sent I came in second, my brother came in third. He sent me a second place trophy. He sent my brother a trophy that just said "not first." He just really wanted to rub it in. So he's a real dick about the trophies. It was hilarious. So
That's amazing.
I appreciate that. So if you ever come over to my place, you will see bowling trophies, and just know I am not a good bowler.
Have you ever come in not first, second, or third? Are there only 3 of you that compete in this?
We're the only ones that I think ever really cared enough to compete.
Great.
Right.
I think everybody else was just there to have fun, and my dad, and my brother were like, "Oh no, we're like gambling on this."
Yeah.
We're
everything's a competition. Let's go.
And we're like we're nice guys, but as soon as you're like, "Oh, this is a thing for money," or there's a competition between Heskies, there's gonna be money on it, and there's gonna be pride.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. So that was the last time we went, the place had messed up the paperwork and they lost their beer license. So they had a keg, but they were not allowed to sell us beer. They could only suggest donations. And they probably made more money off of us than they would if they had just been charging us.
Because that feels like it's a charity at some point. You're like, well, if it's suggested, I better throw a couple extra bucks for the kids.
Yeah. giving. By the end, there's like, I don't know, a pitcher of Yingling Lager. What is that, like $80? I don't know. This is my 7th. My shoulder hurts.
That's amazing.
Well, we're the real winners here.
Here we are. Should we talk about some more awards, James?
Let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
Shannon, you ready?
I'm ready.
You almost Emmy nominated.
Almost Emmy nominated.
The almost Emmy nominated Shannon DeVido.
That's actually going also in the bio.
Emmy-adjacent.
Yeah.
There it is. Emmy-adjacent Shannon DeVido.
I watch it.
Counts. It counts.
All right. Well, we'll be right back after these messages from
Literally no one.
Yeah, actually, yeah, no, yeah. There's no. We can't get sponsors.
James and Shannon, you are about to win an amazing award, and that is learning this story from me today. It's a great honor, I think, because this is something I never heard of before, and I'm so glad I know that it exists now. And I'm so excited to share it with you guys and the listeners. So I was actually having trouble trying to figure out, you came up with the theme awards, James, and then I was like, usually I get something pretty quickly, but I was like, I needed to scour the internet, like, what kind of award do I do, and then finally something came up where, of course, award shows. And I was like, Oscar controversies. I don't want to talk about Will Smith, Chris Rock situation.
What happened there?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right.
But I did find a sort of controversy from an award show many decades ago that I'm so excited that I get to share with the world. Okay. By the way, you can watch this unfold on YouTube. Hopefully, maybe we can put the links up on social media or when this comes out, because it is a fun watch. Okay. Now, I want to make this a little personal because, of course, it's me. I want to talk about myself. In the spring of 1989, way back, I was a young man, and my brother, who was in 3rd grade at the time, my little brother, who was in 3rd grade, we each sent in postcards to the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards sweepstakes. Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. You put in a postcard, they pick somebody out, and they fly you and 6 people out to be guests at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards and get to be on the Kids' Choice Awards. My brother got picked, like, out of everybody in the nation. He gets picked. They flew us out. It was my brother and my mom and dad and my grandmother and my cousin went. And they flew us out to Universal Studios in Los Angeles. And my brother and I were on a segment of the Kids' Choice Awards. We got to sit right in the front row. We were on it a lot because it was hosted by Nicole Eggert of Charles in Charge fame and Will Wheaton of Stand By Me fame. And they hosted it from the audience, from like the 2nd row, because it's kids and it's all just bleacher seating and we're just kids. And we were sitting right in front of them. So we were on like the whole time. And it was great. We got to meet all these D-list celebrities, and it was my first time on an airplane going out to Los Angeles, and we were part of the Kids' Choice Awards, 1989. Now, it's the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. You would think that this show would be sort of a debacle. It was one of the first awards. I think it started I don't think it was the first one. I think maybe it started in 88. I'm not sure. But you would think that this would be the worst award show of, the Emmys, the Oscars, the Grammys, and so on. It was not the worst award show of 1989. And what I would like to talk to you about is the debacle known as the 1989 Academy Awards show.
Okay.
Now, you can watch at least many large chunks of this through YouTube. You can probably piece together and watch the entire show. Okay. Now, the Oscars, it's a tradition in Hollywood. 1989 was the 61st annual.
By the way, we have to have your brother on at some point to do a full episode on.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can do that.
I know he's like an accomplished astronomer, basically, and we can talk about all of that, but we need to do a full deep dive on
the 1989
Kids' Choice Awards, and maybe have a psychologist on to talk about whatever memories you guys both repressed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have one. I don't want to get into it right now, but let's just say I have one horrifying memory with just me in a small room with the man who voiced Roger Rabbit. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
It is horrifying. Yeah.
All right.
So that happened. Almost as horrifying as the 61st annual Academy Awards.
he was like, "Who framed me?" as he's being led out in handcuffs.
Yes.
Sorry.
So
okay. So continue with your story. I just want to say, put a pin in this.
We'll get Adam on at some point.
Right. Yeah.
So, the Oscars, it's Hollywood, it's glitz and glamour. We know how it works. There's a host, they come out, all these star-studded events. It's, they do the in memoriam reel. Everybody gets their awards, they make speeches, etc. Okay? Jack Nicholson is just kind of there. I love that. He's just there.
Physically, but not mentally.
Right. He's just sort of, yeah. He's just high in the front row, and people think it's cute. Like, it's like your aunt at a party. You're like, oh, she had a couple mojitos. There she is, But don't worry, she was an easy rider, so it's okay. So my aunt never in one flew over the cuckoo's nest, but spent time in a state hospital. So close enough, just like Jack.
Same.
So here's Debbie. All right, so that's because from, it's Shining.
Oh,
So
is that what that was from?
What's that?
Was that what that was from?
Yes, that's what I was. It's
Great,
my.
okay.
I do a great Jack Nicholson impression in my act, which you would have to pay to see, and it's choice. It's
All
choice.
Klonopin and no play makes Aunt Debbie sleepy, very sleepy.
So they wanted to shake things up in '89. It's the 61st. They're like, let's do something different. They're like, let's not have a host this year. Let's just let it go. Nobody's at the wheel. Just kind of, again, like Aunt Debbie, nobody's really driving the car. It's just swerving all over the room. So I believe they did this in the late 60s or early 70s. They sort of had that barrage of sort of like just different celebrities sort of hosting it. And then they brought that back, actually, I think in 2018 or 19. And the last couple years, it's just been a weird, conglomerate of a bunch of different people sort of hosting.
Yeah.
So they decided to do this, and now I want to give you the brief history of a gentleman by the name of Alan Carr, C-A-R-R, Alan Carr. He was a man known throughout Hollywood and in Broadway. He came to fame. He basically, when he was in college, he invested in some musicals, and some of them made money, actually, because he just wanted to be in that world, in like production, and he just, it was a big thing. So he got to be known as the musical production guy and just kind of behind the scenes type thing. He was a manager for a while. Through the years, he became known as a great planner of promotional events and parties. And that's kind of part of what he did. He did PR for a bunch of movies, which we'll get into, where he would do the big release party would be it was his charge, and the publicity, that type of thing.
It just, it sounds like he just had coke.
Right. Oh, yes. He had pizzazz, and he had lots and lots of cocaine. Okay? Because he's coming up through the 60s and 70s. It's just,
Shannon, when did you work with him?
Yeah, about 89.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, okay,
So
roughly
it's
around.
been a-
Yeah,
it's
you
been
and
a
Alan
rough-
Carr.
It's been a rough go.
Yeah, your crawls pathed. Your paths crossed. Your crawls pathed. That's what I like to say.
Chip's been doing
I
cocaine
am a professional podcaster.
all day.
Yeah. I've also been doing a tremendous amount of coke, which is probably what happened when one of his most famous events that he threw a black tie event for Truman Capote, which took place in an abandoned Los Angeles jail. So this is what he did. The guy had pizzazz.
Wow.
By the way, I will say this about him. He never met the right girl.
Yeah.
Never found the right gal to get married, and he was described by many people in Hollywood as flamboyant. So,
I was gonna say that jail that's the least amount of sex.
right.
anal
Right.
than.
Yes. So he It was never addressed, but that's what Hollywood was like back then. It was just never spoken of, and he just, that's who Alan Carr was. He's founded the talent agency Alan Carr Enterprises. He managed actors like Tony Curtis and Peter Sellers. He's also credited, you ready for this? This guy was a big deal. He was credited for discovering lots of celebrities, including some of his clients, Mark Hamill, Michelle Pfeiffer, and the Goot, Steve Guttenberg. He apparently discovered all of them and were like early clients of his.
Wow.
Yeah. In 1977, height of cocaine, he was asked to produce the ad campaign for Saturday Night Fever. So like this is a big deal. So he turned like the premiere into, it was like this television event, and it went really well. So he was brought on the next year to have a bigger role in the movie Grease, the next Travolta classic. Okay, so and he was definitely like no stranger to musicals, to Broadway. He knew what to do. So he was in charge of the ad campaign for Grease. He did the premiere party for it. But he also co-produced the movie. So like, and his client was Olivia Newton-John and got her. Like, so like he was definitely behind the scenes in Grease. This guy's a big deal. Made a lot of money with that. Okay. The following year, this is one of my favorites. In 1979, he produced the Village People film musical "Can't Stop the Music," which I believe came out in 1980, which was at the end of the disco era and was a giant flop. But then he came back and produced Grease 2.
Sorry, I'm trying to imagine as Steve Guttenberg as the cop in the Village People, but it's like he's the cop in Police Academy.
Police Academy. Right. And just the sound guy, the guy Michael Winslow just does the,
just
it's like
swapping Police Academy people. Like they finally landed on the one guy, but like they're just Bobcat Goldthwait is in there.
Right. By the way, he also, I found this out, he was also one of the producers on the movie Cloak and Dagger in 1984. Are you guys familiar? Might be before your time. Great movie that my brother and I loved called Cloak and Dagger. It starred Henry Thomas, the Elliot from E.T., and Dabney Coleman in dual roles. Dabney played 2 roles. It was a children's movie where hitmen were trying to murder children. It was lit. It's a great kids movie where they get involved in this spy conspiracy. Great movie about murdering children. Great. A lot of fun. Loved it as a child.
Yeah.
Pre-Hunger Games.
Yes. He also, in the 80s, produced the Broadway musical La Cage aux Folles, which was a play, and then he turned it into a musical. Then, of course, it became The Birdcage, and so on. So the guy did a lot. So it's coming into the 80s. He's had some hits and misses, but he's got a lot of hits. And they bring Alan Carr in, say, you're in charge of the 61st Annual Academy Awards, which is going to air on March 29th, 1989. He wanted to shake things up. No host, like I said. And he's like, what do I know? Big, flashy musical numbers. And now, the Academy Awards has had musical numbers before. We've all seen Billy Crystal. But he decided he wants to make it a big affair. And Shannon, you've said you've seen this before, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I'm sad that I didn't get the chance to watch this.
So apparently there was this. It's apparently the world's longest musical review ever, called Beach Blanket Babylon, which I've never heard of. I don't know if you guys. I've never heard of it, but I think it was like popular in like the 70s or so, and it went on for years. And basically, it was the story of Snow White going around the world looking for Prince Charming. And then it was all these musical numbers. And it was this big hit thing. And he was like, we're going to do that, but in old Hollywood.
Oh, that makes more sense now, though.
Okay,
At least,
exactly.
like there was like a concept.
Right. Which, exactly, Shannon. Because like when I didn't know that until after I saw it, I'm like, what is happening? This is a fever dream. Why is Snow White involved? By the way, I want to make sure. I think I did write something down. I don't think I did. So I want to say this now. It was. I think we can all figure out this is going to be a disaster. They were sued by Disney afterwards because here's the thing that the producer never did. He never got the rights to use Snow White's image. and it's all about Snow White.
No, and she even does like the voice just like the movie.
Oh, she does the high-pitched voice. Like, you know, like, she's great, by the way. I thought she was great.
Is great.
She's basically like what I would assume when you meet Snow White at Disneyland. Like, that's who she would be. It was a woman by the name of Eileen Bowman, and she did a really nice job. And by the way, like, I read some interviews with her, and she was just like, at the end of it, so first of all, the opening number was a 12-minute medley. It just keeps going and
Forever.
going and going. And she is at the helm basically the whole time. And it's just, you just feel bad. Like, James, you've been there
Those
before.
poor
and Shannon,
actors who are on acid.
Right. Right. Like, you know how, like, we've been asked to, like, host an event or do something and it's just, like, out of our hands and we're like, the whole thing's a disaster. This poor woman is on worldwide television, dressed as Snow White, doing the best she can, but it's just...
Been there before.
Haven't we all?
And then like people. Okay, so I feel like this is also important to mention that like now no one really watches the Oscars. Like the ratings are very low, but it's still like a very widely watched event.
Yes.
Like in the 80s and like 90s, millions of people tuned in. Like
Yes.
it's like Super Bowl level watching.
Yes. Yeah. And in this year actually did get a huge rating, for better or worse. Like, it was like over the top. They got this huge share.
And luckily it went well. The Oscars went well this year, right? Nothing happened?
Oh, nothing happened this year. Yeah, it was fine.
Okay.
It was fine. Like, literally, like, she should have slapped somebody on stage for what they put her through. So it starts out from her, like, kind of like in the lobby talking to, I'm assuming that it's this old guy, like maybe the president of the Motion Picture Association or whatever. And she's doing her little, oh, yes, like that. And she's like, you have to follow the stars. And it's almost like a thinly veiled, like, follow the yellow brick road thing, which is Dorothy, not Snow White. And she then starts singing and going through the crowd while shaking A-list celebrity hands, and then standing in the front row looking in the faces of, like, Michelle Pfeiffer and Tom Hanks and all of these people singing at them. And they're just not having it. Like, they're uncomfortable. She's, like, shaking their hands, singing in their faces. It's just horrifying.
Okay, so one... this seems like a bad musical review. Two,
Yes.
when I did this, I got arrested.
Right. And you were also not wearing any pants.
I
And
wasn't wearing
think
pants,
that was
and I
more
yeah,
of
and
the
they were technically in their house.
Right. It wasn't at you were in the star. You got a map of the stars,
I got a map of the stars. Yeah.
removed the bottom half of your clothing, and then just walked into Ving Rhames' house and
Yes.
started singing to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And he can punch the shit out of somebody, by the way.
Right. Of course.
Right.
You picked the right person.
Right. But
Yes.
But I thought I got a few good notes in. I showed him I could dance.
Yeah, you did. So she does this thing. She comes down and she's singing, and then she like runs up and she's like, "Welcome everybody to the 61st annual blah blah blah." You think it's over, and then the curtains come up, and it's apparently I guess it's like the Coconut Grove Lounge, which is at like the Ambassador Hotel or something like that, like one of those old hotels, and it's just starts this huge singing and dancing number. Which then they introduce, you hear the God mic, and it's like, ladies and gentlemen, Merv Griffin. And Merv Griffin starts singing the song, I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts, in a British accent. And then from the tables of this Coconut Lounge, they just start rolling out old Hollywood stars who can barely stand. Sid Charisse, Vincent Price, Roy Rogers, and Dale Evans. Like he's like 100,000 years old, dressed as a cowboy, and they're like, look at him, clap for him, because it's old Hollywood. Like, that was the thing. And they have these numbers, and every single number they do, everybody has shit on their heads like they're Carmen Miranda. Whether it's like a bowl of fruit, or like Grauman's Chinese Theater is on Snow White's head at one point. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Then the feat de resistance, which happens very early in this thing. Merv Griffin says, Snow White We got your blind date here. It's 1989. James Heskey, you did not watch this. Do you want to take a guess who her blind date was? Came out on stage.
Oh, I'm going to say Jared from Subway.
You're actually not too far off for the times.
Close.
Oh,
It was
Oh, no.
Robert Lowe. Rob Lowe, who just the year before recorded himself having sex with underage girls at, I believe, the Democratic National Convention. Now, here's the thing. Here's the less creepy part, which I didn't realize this. I thought they did that on purpose. This scandal hadn't broken yet. It was like 6 weeks later that the Rob Lowe scandal happened.
Oh,
so
no.
it's Rob Lowe getting very lusty with Snow White, and then like a month later, the scandal comes out.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so then they get together and they're like having their first date on stage, and they start singing a rendition of Proud Mary with like new words about Hollywood, about like making it in Hollywood. Shannon, could you describe for me, if you remember, Rob Lowe's performance singing Proud Mary?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so you know when you put things in a blender, but they don't actually like blend because it's too
They're like
much?
stuck, like frozen
this is-
strawberries.
Yeah. That's the best way I can describe his singing
Yes.
in this number.
It is
I should not have taken a
horrifying.
sip then.
And by the way, I've grown to like Rob Lowe. I think he somehow
100%.
revitalized his career. He's done great things. Seems like a very nice guy now.
Yeah. They
Boy,
sells
it was
great
terrible.
sandwiches.
Yeah. So then after Proud Mary happens, and there's all these waiters dancing and everything, then, James, the tables come to life. And the tables just pop up, and there's guys just dancing in the tables, like Beauty and the Beast, but a fever dream. And then you think it's over, and everybody claps, and it's like it's over. But then it just starts up again. It's like COVID, but worse. Like it just keeps happening. Okay, then
It
there
does keep escalating like COVID, though.
it does. It does. Just
It keeps, there's variants.
there's variants. They
It
mutate.
really is a great, it's a really great analogy for
It really-
what occurred.
It's 1989's 12-minute COVID retrospective. So then they go from this lounge to Grauman's Chinese Theater, and then it's a bunch of ushers, like dressed like bellboys. You know how like ushers used to dress like with the red and like the flat hats and everything back in like the 30s and 40s. These ushers, they start doing a kick line because why not?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And it just keeps happening. Finally, it's kind of over, and out the front steps of this one set piece, thank God, Lily Tomlin comes out to save the day because she's a genius. And she kind of makes a quip about people from all over the world are watching this, and they're trying to figure out what just happened. It was a complete disaster. Then in the middle of the show, Shannon, I don't know if you saw this, but I watched it. I didn't send this video. But in the middle of the show, there is a song and dance number called I Want to Be an Oscar Winner, starring a few dozen young Hollywood stars of the time, including Patrick Dempsey, Ricky Lake, Christian Slater, and Corey Feldman, who keeps doing his Michael Jackson dance throughout. That doesn't fit anything, but it just keeps doing it.
No.
And by the way, I read an article. None of those actors ever won an Academy Award, apparently. So it's just, but it's this. It just keeps going, and it's like an 11-minute song and dance number, and they're like sword fighting because it's like the theater, and then Corey Feldman's doing his MJ dance, and then Christian Slater does something. Patrick Dempsey did like tap dances or something. It's just, it's crazy. So,
and then they cut to young Chip Chantry and Adam Chantry in the second row
doing a double dare stunt.
Yeah. We got slimed.
Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
So
right next to Al Pacino.
It literally would have been more like tasteful. The reviews were pretty much horrendous. People were just angry. They hated it. A couple days later, 17 Hollywood dignitaries sent an open letter, and these included Julie Andrews was one of them, Larry Gelbart, Sidney Lumet, just Paul Newman, Gregory Peck, okay, Billy Wilder. They wrote and signed this letter that read, I'm going to read it right now. The 61st Academy Awards show was an embarrassment to both the Academy and the entire motion picture industry. It is neither fitting nor acceptable that the best work in motion pictures be acknowledged in such a demeaning fashion. We urge the president and governors of the Academy to ensure that future award presentations reflect the same standard of excellence as that set by films and filmmakers they honor.
Holy crap.
The PBA sent a similar letter to my family about our bowling tournament, by the way.
Just the same amount of people were injured, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, by the way, Eileen Bowman, the woman who played Snow White, who did not go on to an illustrious career, let me just say that, she apparently was delivered a gag order the next morning forbidding her to speak about her job, about that gig, for 13 years. By the way, so after these 13 years were up, so which would have been like 2002 or whatever, she described the performance as, it's amazing. And if you watch it, and again, we'll link to it, she just said the show itself looked like a gay bar mitzvah. It was just this over-the-top thing that just kept going and going and going. It didn't stop. And it was like, you know how like a train wreck, but like it's more like a car wreck. You know how like on like those like snowy videos where it's like there's a blizzard and it's the highway and it's like a tractor trailer crashes into a car and then just like you think it's over and then there's another tractor trailer and then there's another few seconds and another. That's what this performance was. Now, Alan Carr, how did he move on from this? He did not. He was shunned from Hollywood, and he never produced another thing for the next 10 years of his life until he passed away at the age of 62 I believe, in Hollywood. And it brought that show itself. He was one of the producers of Grease, and that single award show, and basically those two big numbers especially, brought an end to Alan Carr's career.
Oh my God.
And that is the story of 1989's Academy Award show debacle.
Oh, Jesus.
And by the way, I highly recommend. I highly recommend anybody just go on YouTube. Hopefully, we'll link to it. Just look up 1989 Oscars or whatever. There's a 12-minute video of the opening, which is terrible, and then it's like an 11-minute video of the young actors. I want to be an Oscar winner.
We've all had bad shows. I've never had a bad show that got me blacklisted.
No, from all of Hollywood.
All of Hollywood. Yeah. That's a pretty bad show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't great.
What's your like worst show, Shannon? Where you're like, maybe I should take a break from this.
All of them?
Other than this podcast, where I invited you on and thought you had won an Emmy, and then realized it later that you said you hadn't won.
No. Oh, I did a reading once of a new play at Yale, so you would think that it would be good. Yeah. But I'll never forget how it was the most boring thing in the entire world. We had to stay up there the entire time. I fell asleep in the middle. And a guy, and one of the guys that was also in it was, okay, I'm not going to say, I forget his name, but it doesn't matter because I wouldn't say it anyway. But he was eating an orange and he was eating the peel.
Oh.
Like, this all was happening, like, while the thing, because it was like a bunch of monologues. So, like, we just had to sit up there and, like, wait until we had, like, our 1 5-minute
And so this is in front of a large audience.
Well, it was in front of an audience.
Okay.
But yeah. So that one wasn't my highlight of my career, I would say.
That's brutal.
But you were not blacklisted from Hollywood.
I'm not sure. I haven't worked in a while.
We don't.
So
Yeah, the jury's still out.
the jury's still out.
Can't do the Ivy League circuit anymore.
I can't. I'm banned. I'm banned from Princeton.
There's worse things.
I'm doing Barefoot in the Park at Dartmouth next month.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and I'm not allowed to perform at the Supreme Court, but that's for different reasons. Because I'm a threat.
Same.
Yeah.
I would love, James, I would love to give you an award. Maybe someday you're going to get in the mail a bowling trophy that engraved on it, just in quotations, just says threat.
I think that's, yeah, that I would cherish that. I think I'd put that up on my mantle. I got to go get a mantle.
Yeah, let's do that
Yeah,
first.
for all those bowling trophies.
Yeah, right now it's just on a bookcase, which is also where I keep backup toothpaste and Flonase. So
That you won at the local
For bowling.
carnival.
yeah, I'm doing great. Everything's going great. But at least I did not get blacklisted for my for producing the worst Oscars of all time.
Yeah.
It was really bad. Wait, I know, James, you haven't watched it, but Chip, did you notice that when Lily Tomlin walked down the stairs at the end, there was a shoe?
Okay, so I think that was on purpose because like I could be wrong, but like she's walking down the steps, and I think she kicks the shoe on purpose. I don't know if it was like a nod to Cinderella. That's not Snow White, but like she kicks it. She might have. But then like one of the usher guys, he's like, I think trying to be funny and like is like sliding down the stairs on his stomach and grabs the shoe and takes it away. But then she has this very clunky joke at the end. She's like, it's going to be a really great shoe. I mean show.
Oh, I see. Yes. Right. Sure.
And
I
again,
didn't know if that was just like
old Hollywood. I don't know if
saying
that's supposed to be an Ed Sullivan reference. You know, like but it just the entire thing really fell flat. And like Lily Tomlin, genius. And it was like, and by the way, it's like when she walked in or entered, you could feel the crowd collectively have a sigh of relief. Because they thought it was over, and it's like, okay, mom's here finally. we can
clean it
we
up.
can now trust something.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If she
No,
just
that
started,
was-
if she just started dancing.
Right.
I would have watched it.
I believe this was also Lucille Ball and Bob Hope. They presented together. They actually, I don't know if they did anything else, but they were the ones that threw to the Young Actors number. They did that. This, I believe, was Lucille Ball's final. It was her final public appearance, I think.
Well, yeah,
before
she killed her.
No.
She killed herself right after.
Yeah, a month later she passed away.
She just
That's terrible.
she
Which
Bud
actually I
Dwy-
think
she
that's
Bud
true because
Dwyer'd
I'm
herself.
I remember when I was in LA in June of that year for the Kids' Choice Awards, we were on one of those like Hollywood tours, and we went past her house, and it was like Lucille Ball's house, and I was like, oh, she just died. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
So in a
well.
way, she was blacklisted as well.
Oh man.
From life.
Well, you
Oh,
know,
no.
it's just like the cupcakes going through. She couldn't quite catch up, except for instead of the cupcakes or the donuts or whatever
The
it
chocolates,
was,
yeah.
the chocolates. It was just a terrible show, and also her health, I guess.
Sure.
And then death got her. I don't really have a way to wrap this up.
Let's just end it. I'm going to give you an award for trying, though, James.
Thank you.
James, and I'm excited to hear your award story.
No, thanks. We'll see. Chip, Shannon, how would you like to win the same award as Sandra Bullock, Tony Bennett, Michael Douglas, Daryl Hannah, Prince, Tim Burton, Madonna, or Bo Derek? Would that sound good?
I'm in. Sign me up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you hesitated.
I did because nope, I'm not. I want it. That was the correct answer.
You want it?
Yes, I want it. I love Sandra Bullock.
Oh, fair enough. Well, everybody else on that list is pretty cool, right?
Yes.
Well, congratulations. You just won a golden raspberry.
Oh, no.
That's what I thought you were going to say. That's why I hesitated.
Yeah.
Sorry, I ruined your joke.
It's okay. There's a bunch of people on the list of people who have won a golden raspberry. Another thing is I figured you might know about it, Shannon, because you're very learned. And this is all the people who are in the zeitgeist know about these. The golden raspberries are basically the Oscars for movies that suck. Mm-hmm. And they are just meant to be a fun thing, and they are silly and stupid, and they are one of a few different awards that you really just don't want to win. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. Is awards you really, really wish you hadn't won. So we'll start with the Golden Raspberries. They were, if you had to guess, how long do you think they've been around?
1979.
Yeah, they're in their 43rd year, right? Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good. Yeah. So that makes them about as old as Chip Chantry. So pretty old.
Thank you. Very, very, very old.
Very old. Yeah.
The Golden Raspberries look good for 43, though.
They
do.
Yeah.
They're golden.
Mm-hmm. They were started by publicist John J.B. Wilson as a joke, as something to do at a house party after the Oscars. But every year they kept getting bigger and bigger. Eventually they took off, and now they're this big, huge thing. It's like if my drinking problem were an awards show. So Halle Berry showed up. Usually it's all in fun, and they do Punch Up. They're not doing like indie movies. They're doing big Hollywood awards.
Sure.
Halle Berry actually showed up to accept her award for Worst Actress in Catwoman. Accepted it like she won an Oscar. She knew. She's like, whatever.
What movie was it?
Catwoman.
Oh, okay.
Which also did. Sorry, no, go ahead.
Oh, I think Sandra Bullock did too. The year that she won an actual Oscar, she also won a Razzie.
There are people who have won, both.
Yeah. In the same year? Is she the only one, or I don't know?
No, there were other people. Sometimes it's for different movies. It'll be like,
this was for a different movie.
Yeah. Halle Berry did not win, for an Oscar for Catwoman.
That'd be amazing though if she did.
Best cat. So it's all a little bit mean, but they are punching up, and most people should be able to take it. They did step in it a little bit last year. They gave one to Bruce Willis.
Man.
And they had to be like, fuck. We're sorry. We didn't know. We didn't know that you aren't a bad actor. We didn't know you have a terrible family. So those are the Golden Raspberries, the Razzies. They are a lot of fun. You can also, if you like that sort of thing, you can. There's still some videos that are up online. Which one is worse? That I made with Daryl Charles and Mikey Gleason. So you can check those out. We did Catwoman versus. Oh, I forget what it was up against, but Catwoman's is one of the ones we did, and we just have two movies up against each other. So those are fun.
Nice.
Great story, James. Second is always fun. The Darwin Awards, which is are you familiar? You're familiar. Both familiar. I bet most people who listen are familiar with the idea of the Darwin Awards. It's one of the first books I remember getting, other than the Bible.
Which, in a way, is kind
of same.
Yeah.
Fucking Job.
But the Darwin Awards were, it was one of the first books I remember getting I got it from my parents when I was maybe 11, 12, and it was cemented them being like, all right, this kid's kind of fucked up, but let's at least try to figure out how to be funny. Focus it into dark humor.
I remember there used to be so many, like, that must have been a wild time, the 80s and 90s, for just, like, now we just have the internet where, like, you had full books that would just be a meme now. Like, it's just, that's all it is. Like, I remember I had one, I think it was called Separated at Birth, and it was a small book. It was like half the size of a book, but you just open it up, and it was just, each page was two celebrities, black and white pictures of two celebrities who kind of looked alike. That's all it was. The entire, and like, I think maybe there was like sort of like a funny turn of phrase at the bottom, but like one I remember was like Boris Becker and Anthony Michael Hall. And it's like, yeah, they kind of look alike. Yeah, okay.
John Paxton and Bill Paxton and Bill Pullman definitely had their own chapter, though.
Yes.
They did. So it did start as a Usenet news group in the mid-'80s, and people swapped stories that they just heard. It was a lot of like, I heard this one guy who, most of it was bullshit.
Right.
And along comes Wendy Northcutt, who decides she loves this idea, but she wants to figure out which ones are real and which ones aren't. So by 1993, she starts this website called the Darwin Awards, and she comes up with rules, which are, to win a Darwin Award, you have to be unable to reproduce. You are pulling yourself out of the gene pool. So you either need to die or you need to make yourself infertile.
Okay.
So you can live, but you just chop off your nuts or, sterilize yourself somehow. I don't know. What's the lady version of chopping off your nuts?
I mean, I guess take out your uterus.
Yeah, so stick a vacuum cleaner up there.
Yeah, we had the game Operation Shannon. We know how it
works. You have to show incredibly bad judgment, so it can't be something that was like done to you.
Like just a piano falls on you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It has to be self-selection, so it has to be you doing it to yourself again. So bad judgment, and it's you doing it to yourself. You have to be mature enough to be able to do this, so no, like, an 8-year-old did something, killed himself. Isn't that hilarious?
There's a blog we need to start, James.
Yeah, the Child Darwin Awards. The internet's ready. And it had to be verifiable. So this is where one of the things that set her apart.
The Tears in Heaven Awards. Go ahead, James. The floor is yours.
The Claptons. So this is one of the things that set her apart from everything else, was she was actually verifying stuff. And so everything that was in the book it had to come from legit sources. Her first book was a New York Times bestseller for 6 months.
Wow.
It just showed that.
So this is like early 90s?
Yeah, early mid 90s, somewhere in there. And it just showed, and like now no one on the internet lies.
No.
There's no point in lying. So
yeah,
that's why you do it. She was clearly, what I like about Wendy Northcutt is she did stick to her guns, where she liked to make fun of. She just knew she had her idea and she was going to make this work. And she didn't. She's definitely kind of a bitch in the best way. Someone who knew one of the deceased people in her book reached out to her and said, "Can you take it out of the book or take it off the website?" And she replied, quote, "I can't. It's too stupid."
Oh, now I need to know who it was.
Yeah.
What did they do?
It was actually Alan Carr, producer Alan Carr.
Yeah.
I hope it was this guy, because this is one of my favorites. If you're not familiar or you haven't heard them in a while, if you're enjoying the music in the background, that is a car outside my window.
Yay.
That is blasting some fantastic music. One of the best and funniest is Gary Hoy, who's trying to prove to some students who are visiting the skyscraper where he worked, how tough the windows were.
No, James, no.
And he was proving how strong the windows were, how it was this unbreakable glass. by running at full speed and jumping into the window. And he was right. The window itself was unbreakable. But the joints that held the window in place were very breakable. The window could stop a bullet. The window itself could come out of the joints, and it did. And so these students watched as Gary Hoy fell 24 floors down to the ground with an intact window pane. No, I think the window was fine.
Was he okay?
So, I think he was sterilized. I think he was just sterilized.
Just sterilized. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, that was one. I was in. Date myself here. I was in 3rd grade when the Challenger happened.
Yeah.
And we were at lunch, and everybody's talking about it, of course. Like, we're all excited about it. And then we saw a bunch of teachers, like, kind of gathered in the cafeteria, and they were, like, very serious about something. And the lunch lady, her name is Mrs. Kaiser, this old German lady, just seems like just a ball of sunshine.
Yes!
Mrs. Kaiser. Yeah. She was actually a very sweet lady, but no nonsense. And she, like, came over, like, Mrs. Kaiser, what happened? She's like, oh, the Challenger blew up. And, like, there was just this silence on my 3rd grade table. And little blonde-headed, a big-eyed Chip Chantry just looks and goes, are they okay? And she just looked at me, shook her head, started laughing, and goes, no, they're not okay, and then just walked away.
Oh, no.
What's really funny is that if you were asking it right after the explosion, but before the capsule had hit the ground, the water, the answer was yes.
Those 90 seconds, it would have been okay.
They were fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't until they landed that then they were not okay. Because they survived the explosion. It was the landing.
Oh, really? I did not know that. Mm-hmm. That's so sad.
Mm-hmm. They're probably like, that parachute's going to open any minute now. And they're like, what parachute? There's one more award that I want to get to.
Okay.
And this is my favorite one that I hadn't heard of until I looked into this. Because I'd heard of the other two, and I think most people had. And that is the Bad Sex in Fiction Award.
Okay.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So the Literary Review, which I must point out is the British version, not the American version of the magazine. There are two.
We've run into some lawsuits, Shannon, on this podcast before.
I understand. Yeah, it happens a lot.
Every year comes out with what they call the worst description of a sex scene in a novel. It started in 1993, not long after Britain's obscenity laws ended, and there was like a huge spike in sexual content available, but not all of it was good. And the Literary Review was known for enjoying poking fun at such things. It was the literary magazine that apparently was just not so hoity-toity. It was, even despite the fact that they were British, they were a little more laid back and tried to be a little more of the people. That was their thing. Some nominees have included Stephen King and Salman Rushdie, and winners have included Tom Wolfe, Norman Mailer, and Morrissey. So originally they were picking from...
I believe A.A. Milne was one of the winners once.
Yeah. Originally they were picking from good novels that had clearly, like... They were like, oh, these are good novels with just a bad sex scene. But that's kind of broken down, and now they're just picking from whatever. They're like, this is the worst thing I've ever read. And almost everybody agrees that this is just a fun thing. One guy does not like that he was nominated. A guy named Julian Goff didn't like that he was nominated in 2018, claiming that it probably used to serve more of a purpose as a lighthearted joke, but now in the age of the internet, it's sort of mean and it makes people uninterested in reading your material. But what does he know? He's a shit writer. So I thought we could finish up here by having me read a few of the winners.
Oh, I'm in.
Is one Morrissey?
The Morrissey one's okay. As far as I have three of my favorites that I went through the readers.
Just boring and whiny.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of boring. So here's my three favorites This is Back to Blood by Tom Wolfe.
Oh, so Tom Wolfe, like
the governor of Pennsylvania.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. No, Tom Wolfe with an E at the end.
Right.
Now his big generative jockey was inside her pelvic saddle, riding, and she was eagerly swallowing it, with the saddle's own lips and maw. All this without a word.
That got published?
That got published in a Tom Wolfe novel.
Oh,
no. I guess it's supposed to almost sound like riding a horse, but... All right. Here's a good one. I'm going to read it, and I hope you can pick up the punctuation or lack thereof in the way I read it. This is Winkler by Giles Corrin. And he came hard in her mouth.
Good night,
everybody. Basically, no punctuation. And he came hard in her mouth, and his dick jumped around and rattled on her teeth, and he blacked out, and she took his dick out of her mouth and lifted herself from his face and whipped the pillow away, and he gasped and clugged in the air. And he came again so hard that his dick wrenched out of her hand and a shot of it hit him straight in the eye and stung like nothing he'd ever had in there. And he yelled with the pain, but the yell could not have been anything. And as she grabbed at his dick, which was leaping around like a shower dropped in an empty bath, she scratched his back deeply with the nails of both hands, and he shot 3 more times, in thick stripes on her chest. Like Zorro.
And I always end with a simile. That's the way I always... So, by the way, as a former 4th grade teacher, this is I have to tell the student, I'm like, you're just listing events. This is not a story. He did so listen, Justin, when the dick gets wrenched out of her hand, you need to explain that a little bit more rather than just saying that you jerked it out. Like it's just that's just a grammatically, and like that doesn't even have anything to do with like sex. Like, by the way, I missed most of the sex part of that entire thing. I caught some of it, but like the grammar is what was grossest to me.
I mean, there's it's run on sentence.
Yeah.
Is that guy?
That's great.
Here's the thing, though. That's what that guy thinks sex is.
Mm-hmm. Like Zorro.
Like Zorro.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for anyone who has or slept with him. Yeah. Maybe they haven't.
This guy's a regular ooh Cummings. Good night, everybody.
Oh, no.
I've got one more.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And it's from Absurdistan by Gary Steingart.
Yes, Big Gare.
All right. This one's shorter, and there is punctuation. But oh boy, doesn't save it. You want to pop me? She said. This must have been some newfangled youth term, the verb to pop. I want to bust a nut inside you, shorty, I said. I want to make you sweat, boo. Let's do this thing. And that is how sex works. I assume that is an older white man having sex with a younger African-American female, and that is painful to think about.
Nope.
Was like every single part of it is really difficult.
No.
Like
nope.
Yeah. There's just a like that makes me against CRT.
I don't think I ever want to have sex or read a book again.
Nope. Yeah, no, I've turned off from both, so thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
wow.
I think our video this week is going to be me reading the Giles Corrin quote, but just bleeping out all the swear words.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
But that is So anyway, that is
wow.
the Bad Sex in Fiction Award, and those are the awards that you really don't want to win.
No, but
Yeah,
I would take it.
no.
I would take a W for one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Darwin Award is the one I am most likely to win
Of course.
because I don't think I have any.
What
to
if you
finish a book.
won like two of them at once? Like you won a Darwin Award because you did something so stupid as like writing the worst novel, and then like killed yourself because you got the award. Like I think you could double some of these up. Would be great.
You could get like whatever the version of an EGOT is, but with these three.
Right. Yeah. Like Sandy Bullock's got a leg up, and maybe if she just starts writing and I don't know, juggling chainsaws.
I mean,
got a
Alec
shot.
Baldwin will probably be the one that makes it happen.
Yes. Yeah.
That one movie, he might get all three. If it's a novel, if it's a movie based on a novel, or like he could write a tell-all book about what happened.
He probably wants to.
Why it's not my fault.
That acceptance speech is going to be very salty.
Oh boy.
I didn't mean it that way. That's
Yeah. he's he's gonna leave it as a voicemail on his daughter's phone.
You're all pigs. You're all little pigs.
Remember when like everybody was just like he's like all liberals were just like he's so great, he's on our side, just forgetting that time that he just screamed at his daughter and called her a pig.
Mm-hmm. He was gonna be president.
Yeah.
Yep.
Him and Cuomo.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well, James, I'm giving you an award for that story right there.
Yeah. For
Thank-
reading those things.
First prize.
Well, I just sat there before we started recording. I read them to myself a few times. I still couldn't get out that one. So, also an award to my roommates for not pretending like I was in here masturbating to the weirdest shit.
Oh, I'm going to take that again.
Yeah. He's been in there for hours. Well, thank you very much, Shannon, for coming on. Where can the people find you?
Oh, thank you for having me. This was so fun. I learned a lot. Where can they find me? On the interwebs at Shannon DeVido in all the places that you can find an @ symbol before your name.
DeVido, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, not like the other short actor. Right. I'm the girl short actor. Although he also has a daughter, so I can't really do that anymore either. Oh. Anyway, it's spelled different. Yeah,
girls spell it with a D.
Girls spell it with a D. Yeah. Oh, crap. Being a girl's hard right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment.
So we won't see you at the Emmys.
You will not see me at the Emmys. No. Yeah.
Where else won't we see you?
Well, you probably won't see me at the Oscars.
Okay.
You probably won't.
Maybe I'm thinking like Snow White, dress like a Snow White and just show up, see what happens.
There's still time. They may need to recreate that. Mm-hmm. It would be funny if they did.
Yeah.
It's just they just every few years they just keep recreating it.
I think there needs to be an homage.
It would be really funny if someone came dressed like Snow White and they were like, "Wait a second."
Yeah.
I'd watch that with you though. You'd figure out a way to make it actually funny.
Oh, thanks. Well, I wouldn't be able to get down the steps, so.
just like a Jennifer Lawrence situation, but you're just like at the bottom of the stairs, like the fuck. There's no ramp.
Hey guys,
it's not accessible.
Little help, cool. Corey Feldman.
Yeah, Corey Feldman has to carry me up the stairs, and he can't really do it.
This is actually really interesting. I forgot to mention this. Going back to the Kids' Choice Awards, Corey Feldman was on the Kids' Choice Awards that year too. So he's in the Oscars, and then a couple months later in June, he was on the Kids' Choice Awards. He sang a song. He did one of his, because he was sort of at the height of his powers then. It's 89. And he sang one of his terrible, terrible songs and was basically dressed like Michael Jackson. and did the thing where he runs down the steps into the audience to like the screaming girls and like high fives everybody. It might have even high fived us, I forget. But then he ran up the steps back up to on stage, tripped, face planted, and then got up and continued the song. They edited it out of the actual show, but my dad and I can't imagine they would ever allow people to do this now. My dad had like one of those bulky camcorders. My parents were in the very back. He filmed it, and for years we had a VHS tape of Corey Feldman face planting, and I tried looking back like 2 years ago, couldn't find it. It's gone.
Oh man, Corey Feldman came in your house and took it.
I mean, probably.
Yeah, I mean that is the best case scenario of finding an old video of Corey Feldman from the 80s.
Yeah, that is the least damaging.
Yeah, just like, oh, thank God, it was just him falling on the stairs.
It's either that or Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's amazing. I just need a video of your dad with the giant camcorder in the back of the auditorium.
Back of the Kids' Choice Awards.
Just filming the entire Kids' Choice Awards. Like he's like one of the cameramen.
Yeah, that's basically what was happening. And they just let him do it.
I mean, the thing is, having met your dad is a big, like, strong guy. He's got a pretty big build.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but like knowing cameras back then, that's kind of what you needed to hold on to one of those for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
You were holding on to a small satellite dish. But Shannon, you're the best. Everybody should go check out Shannon's stuff. All the stuff you did with Delco Proper. Seriously, if you I saw you in Teenage Dick. You're so funny. So if the run there that's not still running, right?
No, it's over.
No, okay, that was great. But if you ever get to see Shannon in a play, she's great live. So please go see Shannon. And then super funny, super talented writer, actor. Very mean spirited.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
so,
just nasty.
But
very
other
nasty.
than that,
It's part of
very
my
talented.
charm.
Yeah. And big fan of shrimp. She loves shrimp. So please
mail her some shrimp.
Only if it's left in a backpack overnight, and then I have to pretend to eat it.
Yeah, we did Depressed Chef, and I brought shrimp. The joke was that I worked hard to make it for her, and then she didn't want to eat it. And then we made the joke even better by me accidentally leaving it in my backpack for like 14 hours.
It wasn't just shrimp, though. It was curry shrimp.
Curry shrimp, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
So I just left it in my backpack while we went to a wedding. And then, like, the next day we're filming. And I'm like, yeah, so not only don't eat it, but, like, don't eat any of the vegetables. Don't eat any, maybe don't even look at it.
Maybe don't sniff it.
Don't look like, yeah.
How
So
COVID
anyway,
started.
we're just
You guys
inventing.
might have been the reason.
Mm-hmm. So that was fun. That was a good time. You were a great sport.
It was a blast. It was very fun.
And then we threw that shrimp into an incinerator.
We did.
All right, but you're the best. Thanks for doing the podcast.
Of course. Thanks so much again for having me. You guys are awesome and so funny.
All right, yeah. May the Lord bless and keep you.